Okay, anyway, before we start to take the 12 refuge and the 5 precepts, okay, so I need to explain what are these refuges about, okay. I mean, after the Buddha 2,600 years ago attained enlightenment, 就是在菩提树下成道, and after attaining enlightenment, and then so we started to have a Buddha, someone who's called the awakened one, or you could say the enlightened one, 就是我们有这个佛, and then just maybe also after the enlightenment of the Buddha for 49 days, then the Buddha started actually to proceed to go to, basically the Buddha then started to give the first sermon of the teachings. So the teachings, so that's the reason why we have the first, the Buddhist doctrine or Buddhist sutra. It's called the Bhavattana, Dharmacakkappavattana Sutta. It means actually the discourse on the Buddha turning the wheel. Okay. Well, in the old day, when you say turning the wheel, it refers to mean the teaching is going like a wheel, very fast and very efficient, you know. So that is, there was two ways of saying. One way of saying that the first sermon that Buddha was given was that sermon. The other way of saying actually, after the Buddha gained enlightenment, he does utter certain verses to automatically saying that he's very pleased because at the end he found the truth of how to completely cut off the suffering. Okay, so that's the reason why we have the teaching, or you can say we have the Dharma. Okay, and then not until when there was one of the very rich and charismatic guy become a monk. His name is called Yasa. So, and he actually having some fun with a woman, maybe in a kind of like, because he's a rich guy, so having some fun in like in a park at the time. And then when he wake up, then he saw the woman left. So, and that woman took all his like jewelry and so a sort of thing, you know, stole all his stuff. Just when he was chasing after the woman, then he met the Buddha sitting in the park, and he asked the Buddha, "Why did you see my girl?" Okay, like say the girl looks like such and such and such. Then the Buddha asked him, "Is it very important to search for your girl? I mean, as kind of like a prostitute, or is it important to search for yourself?" And I guess it might be because he was so rich and he was really like one of the most famous guy in that town or in the city, and also very rich, very educated, and every woman, of course, wanted to marry to him. So anyway, he might have a lot of experience of life, so he was thinking that might be a very wise kind of question. So he reflected a little bit and then asked, so then he didn't want to chase after the woman to look for the jewelry. So, and then he would just start to ask the Buddha the truth, or maybe you could say the Dharma, the teachings. So, and then later on he was convinced that he should have just followed this rather than just chasing after his life. So after he became a monk, it's very interesting, his father and mother, certainly a very rich woman and the man in the town, so we support him to support his decision to become a renouncier. So, and then they asked the Buddha, you know, as we are the lay person, we are not going to renounce the life as a monk or nun. So what could I do? So that's the reason then the Buddha said, you could just take the refuge. So this is how we start to have the 3 refuge. It means you take the refuge. Refuge means it's almost as if like, you know, somebody when they have refuges in Chinese called 皈依, 皈依嘛, 廣東話. So in that kind of the refuge, it's as if like, you know, when somebody, let's say there's a simile saying that when you, let's say you drown in the ocean, So you drown, you don't know how to swim, or even though maybe the ocean, the wave is too strong. So what you have to do, then you see something like a log, floating on the sea, or wood, or plant, or floating on the sea. You will grasp that and hold it, right? That will help you at least to save your life. So sometimes the urge of the refuge has to be understood in such a way that you need to really, in your life, besides you have material life, in the spiritual life, you must find something that really can help your spirituality. Now, of course, according to the Buddhism, or you could say the Buddha's understanding, the best in the whole universe, because in Buddhism from the very beginning, we do not believe in just only one planet, but we believe in the whole universe. In the whole universe, who is the highest, who is the best? Of course, everybody was looking, thinking that a king is the highest. Everyone knows now, if you be a king, or if you be a president, if you be what, you still are not. You still have, maybe you make a lot of foolish decisions and so forth. But to at least from a Buddhist perspective, or from this kind of religion, think that the highest person in the world or in the universe is the Buddha, because it's someone actually is completely cut off the ignorance, cut off the desire, cut off this anger, and cut off this what we call anyway, basically cut off the three things. But usually you could say five, like cut off the pride, and also and then cut off the doubt. So the doubt of what big of the life, So in Indian traditions, a person is going to reincarnate again and again and again. So it's only when somebody really cut off the desire, complete cut off this desire, complete cut off the anger is the rougher one, and then you cut off the anger first, and then you cut off the other is what we call the desire, and then the ignorance. So you will not ignore anymore. You live in a more only wise person anymore. When that cut off, then there's no any factors, because Buddhism believes in all there's a universe, there's a kind of law. And the law have no way to control anybody, like the reborn process, because the desire being completely cut off the soul, then the Buddha would never be reborn again. This is why he would be the highest in the whole universe. Even though people want the name, want the fame, want the power, but ultimately it is if you can cut off all the defilement, all the suffering, this is how the best has been, as someone who is, is alive. So then we need to actually learn that, so ultimately, maybe there are a lot of religion telling you that who can save you, but the Buddha would be the one actually, if you have the strong confidence on him, that he will save you. But save you in the sense, not because he judge you, to save you in the sense that once you have the direct direction, you have if you can direct your mind on the correct direction, so that wisdom itself can save you. Okay, so that's why we need to learn to pay the refuge to the Buddha. Mean when you have any suffering, so someone actually can be complete out of the suffering. If you can contemplate that way, your mind will be a peace of the suffering. 就是你的烦恼就会没掉。So that is actually the true meaning of paying the refuge to the Buddha. Okay, not like traditional. You could see people go to worship the Buddha. That is just a statue, and that also has come later. But it is all about the mind, that you have a direct to the most powerful, the one that who can cut off all the defilements one. Okay, understand? Okay, 就是所谓皈依佛，其实就是因为佛是最伟大，智慧最高。所以当你的心能倾向于皈依他的时候，那么这个就是对他有这个信心的时候，就是皈依并不是一种形式上的东西。Okay. And then what does it mean by take the refuge to the Dhamma? It means, of course, the Buddha's teachings. But the teachings, they have the few significant meaning of the teachings. Now, the teaching actually is not because of just wonderful. Everybody will say their teaching is wonderful. But Also, there's a characteristic of Buddhist teaching is when you learn the Buddhist teaching, you can see it right there, okay? You don't have to wait until you die to know, okay? Like that. So of course, there's a big subject on that. I don't have time to explain, but at least, so we must also not only just take the refuge to the Buddha, but also to the teachings. 就是说皈依法哈，当然法就是指佛陀所说的教法，但是法里面呢，还有包括了一个很重要的几个特色，法的特色，在佛教，那么就是实际上佛陀所学的法是当下就可以看到，不是说我等到要去世要死的时候才知道的啊。这也是它其中一种特色。意思就是说，简单的讲，如果今天假设我们有个正确的想法，我们的烦恼就没有了。当我们没有个正确的想法，我们的烦恼就会在。这个就是法嘛，这是个道理哈。这个道理呢，是其实你只要是学到了，就是说啊，皈依法就是这样的。就佛家讲的道理就是，如果你没有正确的想法，你就会烦恼；你有正确的想法，就是没有烦恼。比如这么说，这个就是法。所以这个不用等到你死的时候，或者你要死才知道，你现在就可以知道的。所以这就是佛法里面的法，就是有这样的一个特色。所以皈依这个法的话，当我们有这种正确的心态的时候呢，那很自然的我们就会对这个法就会，简单讲，就佛讲的最好的东西，就自然就在我们的心里面，自然就变成跟你成为一体的这就是皈依的第二个意思。And the third one is that we take a refuge to the Sangha. The Sangha here refer to those who actually follow the Buddha's teachings, either they are layperson or the monks or nuns. So anyone who are follow the Buddha's teaching and they become the noble person, 就是成为圣者. Sometimes you could translate as become the saint. So, and those mean Sangha. So that's why, in other words, you must also learn as if you want to, beside, in our daily life, we always think about how we live best, how we earn money and so forth. Beside that, so your spiritual life have to always either contemplate, you must build up your confidence to the Buddha, or confidence to the Dharma, the teachings, or confidence to the noble persons. Okay, that's why. So, you might see there was some other statue that represent the noble person who followed the Buddha in the past, but even maybe in the present, because they follow the Buddha, they become a noble person, and then they all mean the Sangha, mean a Zen community. Okay, the Zen community. So that's you need to build up that faith towards them also. So that's what I mean by the three refuge. Okay, understand? 就是身，简单讲就是我们说皈依身，就是说我们一定对任何的修持而成到正果位的人，有证到那种很高的修行的果位的人，从过去到现在都是身，所以这个就是我们所谓皈依身的意思啊。那因为简单的讲，就是因为他们有跟着佛法来修行，因为没有他们证明这个可以修到这样，那当然这个你也不知道是不是，对不对？但是就是有人可以因为跟着这个佛陀的教法，跟着佛陀的这个例子，然后成为圣者，所以叫皈依，就是身啊。这样的话，所以这就是为什么在皈依有分三个皈依，就皈依佛、皈依法、皈依僧。Okay. And after when you understand when in Buddhism it's not only one, you don't just put the faith to the Buddha. You must also put the faith to the Buddha because he found the Buddhism. He rediscovered the teachings and he found the Buddhism. And you have to put the faith to the teachings because without the teachings, then of course then you would not have the third one, then you would not have the noblest persons. So you must also put the faith to the Buddha and put the faith to the Dharma and put the faith to the noble person as a community. Okay, as I say, the community here refer to either the lay person or the monks or nuns, those who follow the Buddha's teachings and become the saint, okay, or noble persons. And beside that, there was some very important guideline you need to follow. At least once you take a refuge, there's a simple guideline. That is, you don't kill the big thing. For example, you don't kill human. You don't kill cow. Okay, that's a guideline. You don't kill, but you can eat meat, but you just don't kill. You know what I'm saying? You don't say, oh, I want to eat a big... of course, you don't eat human. I mean, like that. You just don't kill the big thing, okay? And if the second, the guideline is that, and then you don't steal, okay? So I don't have to say that, explain that now. And the third one, and then you don't commit the sexual misconduct. In other words, mean if you promise to your partner that you will stay with the person, that you don't have a sexual activity with other persons. That means the sexual misconduct. That's the third guideline you need to follow. I mean, when I say follow, mean it's not a strict rule, but it's like, since then, you need to take this as your morality guideline, as a guideline. Even actually original language means that you take this as your foothold, to practice, And the fourth one, you don't lie, okay? You don't want to lie, because I'm sure that the lying is make a lot of things worse, And the fifth one, you don't take drugs, and you don't take, especially you might drink, but it's fine, but you don't addict to it, and then makes you become, like you have to rely on that, makes you be happy, you know what I'm saying? Actually, in the text say that don't take that in order to make your mind not clear, okay? So like the drug on the wine and this, you might have it like a wine, but you don't intoxicate yourself, So in other words, even if you take it, you have to be very careful not to make yourself become sober, maybe you call that, or intoxicated, like you don't know what happening. Okay, those are the 5 things. You don't have to really follow everything, but at least you must know. That's how even though you don't know how to practice, in your daily life, but those are the things try to avoid. And not that you could do it all the time, but you can try to avoid. You know what I'm saying? Because in Buddhism say that the only person who can really practice these 5 things completely pure is only the Buddha and the Arahant. Otherwise, everybody is still subjugated to somehow they will kill a little thing in here and there, whatever. But at least we learn, try to avoid those things. Get it now? Okay. All right. If you find that it was fine, and I just want to say last thing is, usually it's believed that in Buddhism, when you actually take these 3 refuges and 5 precepts, when you agree to do that, when you do it, and then you build up a good marriage to you, a good kind of good thing to you. Because at least it's almost like you register to a school. So you start to register in the school. So this kind of good marriage, 就是我们中文叫福报或者功德，哈。So 这种福报跟功德 sometimes we translate in English as a marriage, and this kind of marriage, so will help you to at least in the next life you were born as a human or born to there were different type of heavens. So what we call the heavens of essential pleasure. So those are the important things that to encourage you why you to take the refuge, because at least kind of like you make a promise, even though you not necessarily do all the things at once or everything is really fine in one time, but at least you make the promise and you're trying to do that. That actually is really to become a really strong power, or you could say the motivation for you to have a better life. Okay. All right. You have to, if you take the refuge, maybe you need to start to take you have to knee. But if you can knee, if you cannot knee down, 就是你要跪。如果你不能跪，不要跪，没关系，哈。你的腿不能跪就不要跪，啊。就係有跪字。如果你唔可以跪就唔好跪，唔可以跪你唔使跪㗎。你個腳唔好跪，啊。但係咧，你可唔可以就3拜？你唔使跪3拜 ，okay. So just you 拜3拜 just prostrate 3 times, yeah. Do you know how to prostrate? Maybe you have to you have to. I mean, in tradition. Yeah, you have to bow really down. Yeah. When you posture, you could just think of that there was a Buddha right in front of you like that. Okay. There's a Buddha right. Okay. You know, traditionally, because I wear the robe, the monk's robe, so that's our tradition. When we do the refuge, I'm a monk and I'm wearing the monk's robe, and we represent the Buddha to give you the refuge. That's what it's doing, the tradition. Okay. Okay, so you want to recite in Pali, English, or Chinese? Quốc语啊，国语比较好是吧？好，OK， 那国语那就海伦斯那你念吧，你就跟着他念一句，你跟着念一句啊。So OK。
我的老师，慈悯饶益故，慈悯饶益故，请您受我三归五戒。我的老师，慈悯饶益故，请您受我三归五戒。我的老师，慈悯饶益故，请您受我三归五戒。南无婆伽梵，阿罗汉，三藐三菩提。南无婆伽梵，阿罗汉，三藐三菩提。南无婆伽梵，阿罗汉，三藐三菩提。
那我就念一句，你们跟着我的念哈。归佛两足尊，归法离欲尊，归身众众尊。OK， 第二次哈，归佛两足尊，归法离欲尊，归身众众尊。好，第三次哈，归佛两足尊，归法离欲尊，归身众众尊。OK， 那这个我应该要念第四的念的萨丁，好，没关系，我们就接下来就是念五戒，好，我就念一句，你们跟着念一句，好，我愿受持学习不杀生戒，好。OK， 那第二个，我愿受持不偷盗戒。OK， 第三个，我愿受持不邪淫戒。第四个，我愿受持不妄语戒。第五个，我愿受持不饮酒戒。好，那我再念下面一段话，你们先不用念哈。我还是念为巴利文好，因为我习惯哈。Tisarane satin panjasinang dhammang sadukan surakhitan gatva appamadena sampadetha。对，你就讲是的，好的，或者是就是阿么班的，你就说阿么班的。其实我主要是说这个三归跟五戒呢，你们应该好好的守护它，应该不要犯意。那你要回答，你要回答说好的，好的老师，或者是的老师 ，OK。好 ，and then 你就可以放下那个纸，没关系，你就要拜上拜啊， 好了，那就可以坐着啊。当然你要跪也可以了，但是你就坐着。好了，最后我只是要说，就恭喜啊，因为就祝福你们，就是说，因为有持这个三规啊，跟这个五戒呢，因为呢，不然的话，我们一个人活着在这个世界里面呢，只有这样活着还是不够的。那么实际上，我们生命里面呢，还是要有一个精神的支柱吧，啊。那么这个精神的支柱呢，当然最重要了，并不是在这个形式上的，因为这个拜佛或怎么样，最重要就是因为你的心里能向上。但是向上你也可以说，我可以很多方面去向上。不过就算你向上，你还是要有个比较有明确的一个目标的做法。那么这个明确的目标，当然就是相信有这个佛，他本身呢，在这方面是做得最好的。然后呢，有这个他所讲的教法，其实他都可以引导你。当然，你有时间应该多了解，没时间至少你知道这件事，就他能引导你，其实上都是一定是好的那一方面去。然后呢，第三个就是有这些人，因为随着就是他这个佛的学习那么或者这个教法的学习而成为这种圣者的，他们是可以成为一种模范，一种 example 可以给你看。那么这种呢，然后你当然除了之外呢，你也知道你会对这5个方面呢，你会尽可能去遵守，能做多少就做多少，就这样啊。这样的话你至少这一生里面，下一生你会保存，你不会轮回到不好的地方去，那你至少能轮回到好的地方，至少成为一个，就算你轮回到成为人，也会变成一种很有福报的这样，这个就是至少这个是在本身佛教里面。就是你皈依的时候，至少能提供你的一个方便好吧？了解吗？那就祝福你们有这样的崭新的一天要不然的话，你不知道人生该怎么一直过下去了。有时候 ，OK，All right，OK，好吧？那我们就皈依就这样子结束到时候你们有填那个表吗？他会给你那个皈依证那我们还有一些法名。那么当然。下次你们有什么问题有什么你们都可以找我们来问好，那有机会也常来这里OK，好，沙都，好，祝福你们 OK。